So when this inner dialogue, this nervous system, we call it, is in a continuous heightened state, calm will start to seem extremely strange to people. Calm doesn't even exist in their lives. Peaceful relationship will feel almost completely boring. Silence will feel very uncomfortable for people.
Millions of American families. Yeah, and then they came out. It's a word that they came out.
Hello, and welcome back to the Missing Piece podcast. I am Danielle Griffiths. I'm here with my lovely and amazing and talented co-host, Brooke Benevento. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing absolutely amazing, as always. How are you doing?
Best answer. Amazing, excited. I've been wanting to do this one for a while. I think we've even mentioned it. Really excited, wanting to get into my brain and other people's brains and wonder why we tick. So the question today is, why are people so addicted to drama? And I have a feeling I know some things, but I'm going to defer to the expert. So to get us started, I'm sure people ask that in your coaching all the time. Why are people so addicted to drama?
Yeah, it's funny because people don't actually know that they're addicted to drama, and it's actually the number one addiction. So usually in coaching, I have to slowly bring that attention to the person and say, hey, there may be some signs here that you are, addicted to this feeling of wanting to get attention and needing that because of, again, our social heredity. If you want to go back, watch 1, 2, 3, 4. This will explain social heredity. We've kind of laid the groundwork there for you so that when we do talk about it, you can go back and refer to it. But really, being addicted to drama is mainly just connected to what society would call the nervous system. And so I call it sort of the inner knowing. The nervous system always sounds so negative to me. I'm like, why are we using the word nervous system? Like, our systems don't have to actually be nervous. They can be a peaceful system. And so kind of using this internal dialogue that you're having with yourself. And what it is, it's basically just communicating. It's a network. It's communicating. And its job is to constantly ask ourselves, am I safe? Am I in danger? And when someone grows up in an environment that is very unpredictable, critical, very high emotion, explosive, fights, instability, the body starts to adapt to always being on alert. So when this inner dialogue, this nervous system, we call it, is in a continuous heightened state, calm will start to seem extremely strange to people. Calm doesn't even exist in their lives. A peaceful relationship will feel almost completely boring. It will feel, silence will feel very uncomfortable for people. Sitting still, being in a loving relationship, that doesn't feel right. It feels like we always have to be alert and on the go. And unconsciously, because I don't think anybody really wants to create this drama in their life. So unconsciously, what we're doing is we're always creating this conflict. We're overthinking. We're always checking for problems. We're very drawn to the intensity of people's behaviors because the body has learned, okay, this is familiar and familiar feels safe to me. And so that is why the majority of people are going towards that. And a lot of people don't even know consciously that they're doing it. And I think I've said in a previous episode that it is the number one addiction in the world. And so I would say probably, I think it was like maybe 6 out of 10 people are addicted to drama, which is really actually mind-blowing. And we'll get into the other half part of that too later, what actually fuels the drama. But
Well, I like what you said about it feels comfortable. And I have a very distinct memory. This was almost 20 years ago. I was teaching full-time, coaching full-time, grad student, going after my master's, had a 2-year-old, was pregnant. I mean, it was the most stressful time of my life. And I remember as I would, get a big midterm paper done or get something substantial checked off my list, instead of being happy and, oh gosh, it feels so good, my brain was immediately, okay, what's next? What do I need to worry about next? And I remember thinking, that can't be healthy. I'm literally not even taking time to enjoy an accomplishment. I'm already going to the next one. So I think, to me, drama and more by extension, being overwhelmed feels comfortable. But like you said, my nervous system can't keep up with that. And I mean, we could tie it to a bunch of different parts of our lives, but I definitely, that resonated with me when you said that.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other part of that too, that I wanted to just hit on real quick, was that drama in your life has to be fueled by something. Okay. So if somebody is creating drama, okay, over something so small, okay, normally it's something very small. We know it's not about the thing that's small. It's something about something very deeper. But a lot of times, we have, the drama needs to be fueled by something. And so the other something is the person that is enabling the person to create the drama. So let's say someone creates drama and there's nobody there to react to the drama. What will happen to the drama? Well, it will die,
dissipate. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll go away. Right. And so I always try to, sometimes I'll relate to it as kind of like this inner beast that's in us, right? This beast, this almost even like a little child that needs to be seen. Okay. And so if this child needs to be seen, you either have, you've probably heard it, negative attention is still negative attention, right? And so they have learned that if I give negative attention, if I blow up, I get people to look at me, I create this thing that isn't even anything, then I can get attention from people because I'm starting to feel bored. I'm starting to feel like maybe I don't even exist in this world. I need to feel something. I need that. What we're going to talk about in a little bit is kind of that dopamine hit. So you have to also understand, when we're talking about the person that's causing the drama, there is also another person on the other side, that what society will call an enabler. And so if you can also, as you're listening to this episode, I really want you to sort of find out, wait a minute, am I the person causing the drama, or am I the enabler that's letting that person dictate what drama is being brought in? So I think that's going to be really important too, as we kind of go through some of these things today as well.
Okay. That makes sense. And I think another part of this that I am convicting myself on is a lot of the avoidance and the avoidance that comes along with I would rather be in the midst of being overwhelmed and having way too much, because to me that signifies a busy life, that signifies a successful life. Whereas if I'm trying to sit in that stillness, like you mentioned, sit in that peace, it feels uncomfortable. I feel like I should be doing something or listening to something or reading, or so I think finding that missing piece is such an important part. And one of the things I've loved about this journey is that I find myself thinking about past episodes, thinking about advice you've given me or things we've talked about, and applying it to my life. And like we've talked about, it's not a one-shot thing. It's a practice. It's something that you have to develop and create. But yeah, the avoidance one really got me. The trauma and familiarity one really got me.
Yes. This is huge.
I mean, there's just so much. There's so much there. The dopamine hits I'm especially interested in, because I think this addiction to drama and, kind of side by side, the addiction with social media are huge for pretty much everyone that doesn't have a phone. I mean, excuse me, everyone that has a phone. It's just, this thing, we're in the zombie apocalypse. You look around at restaurants and 4 or 5 people are sitting at a table and they're all looking at their phone. And it's just, it's a very interesting time to be alive right now, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of things about, well, another thing about drama is that it's sort of a manipulation tactic to also, for one, to sort of like position themselves as a victim. So drama is usually very victimizing. And one thing that really helps is that if you can get somebody to understand that they are not a victim in their situation, and really take validation for themselves, you can really kind of switch their paradigm fairly quickly, because nobody wants to be a victim. You want to be a victor. You don't want to be a victim in society, because being a victim, you're never going to go anywhere, And so I think it's really huge too, to really start to say, okay, if I'm causing drama, am I playing the victim part? And what is it? Yeah. What is it about being the victim makes me feel good about myself? And these are just questions. Like you said, it's just awareness. It's so much awareness about yourself, and really being able to just continuously look in the mirror over and over again, and drama is a painkiller. It really is. It's something that we look at and we're like, okay, I mean, instead of, maybe, doing drugs, shopping, alcohol, these are all addictions that we have, And so, drama is just another way to numb, another way to just get that dopamine hit, right? Like you said, like it's just this, it's this familiar, it's really, honestly, it's a drug. That's what it is. It's a drug that we can create, and normally unconsciously that we do it. It's kind of like when you reach for that glass of wine that you need every night. This is the same thing. If you don't reach for that glass of wine for 2 or 3 days, what's going to happen? It's going to bottle up, and then you're probably going to binge because you haven't had it in so long. And so that's kind of what drama is. It kind of just, it builds up and builds up and builds up. And then the longer you allow it to build up, the stronger it's going to be when you actually take that action to want to get that attention. Yeah. It's very interesting, actually. Yeah, it is. It's very, very interesting.
I was thinking early on in my relationship with my husband, I remember we were, this was back when I think it was Vogue or Cosmo, magazines were really big. And I remember reading to him from an article, and it said something to the effect of, when women are wanting to vent, they just want someone to listen to them and maybe say something to the effect of, that sucks, or yeah, that's a rough day. Whereas men, and this was what was in the article, men hear someone that has a problem and they want to fix it. And so it was talking about how women get offended that men are like, well, have you thought of, and they try to give constructive advice. And so I distinctly remember this because it was something that has really helped over the last 25 years, is when I'm having a bad day or there's something I want to vent about, my husband will say, do you want me to listen, or do you want me to try to help you fix it? And at first I almost got a little offended, like, oh, you don't want to talk to me? Like, what is this about? But it's such a powerful communication tool to say, this is what I need from you right now, and being on the same wavelength. So I just wanted to that probably has prevented, I don't know how many fights, just being able
thousands,
to,
probably.
make that little distinction.
Yeah.
Thousands, probably. But
And I agree. Like as being a coach, you also have friends that are also your friends, and they call you, and sometimes they want to vent. And sometimes I have to say the same thing. Are we venting, or are you wanting to actually have some,
and it's a clarification. It's not like an insult.
No, it's not. It's like, hey, am I a friend, or am I being a coach right now? And it's just asking that person, what is it that you're needing from me right now? If you need to vent, I am here to listen to you vent and go on. Sometimes I've got to vent too, trust me. So, I think in not even only like marriages, but like friendships too, to say like, is this a time that you just want me to listen? Because sometimes I think that's where the drama can come in too, right? Is when we're not understanding what people want. And then this whole big old thing gets blown up because somebody was like, well, I just wanted you to listen to me. It's like, oh, okay, sorry. I thought you wanted me to help you fix the problem, you know? And it's like, no, I know what the problem is. It's just, I need to talk, I need to talk to somebody about it. So yeah, no, I do love that. And I think that, Seth and I do use that as well. And it does help a lot. Sometimes I'll say, and sometimes I say it to him. I'm like, is this a you telling me how you feel session, or is this a you want to fix the problem session? And yes, it has helped so many times that we don't get into arguments, for sure. 100%.
I love that because it's so rare. I hear people fight all the time and I'm like, what's that like? I'm sure it was a little more tumultuous early on in the relationship, but
always
you get to learn each other's cues and when to let the other person kind of relax and not be in their dish. And I think, that's part of the process.
And I think you kind of run out of stuff to fight about after you fought about everything. What else is there to fight about? You know what I mean?
Well, I think sometimes in a relationship, kind of getting the blood flowing, it feels exciting. But as you get older, and I think I'm at that point in my life where I don't want drama. I just like a day without drama is awesome and relaxing. But inevitably, our society is not set up that way. Sex sells, violence sells, drama sells. And I always have thought, why doesn't the news media, going back to episode 1 that we did, why are they not more positive? But that doesn't sell. And it's sad to say, but it doesn't. And so I guess what I would ask of your expertise to kind of, move into the action part of this podcast. What can people do if they are thriving? If drama is their middle name, if drama is something that keeps them like fueled with that adrenaline or the dopamine hits, what can people do about that? Just kind of on day 1 of drama detox.
I think that first, becoming aware that you like drama. That's the first thing, right? Is noticing, am I addicted to drama? And a lot of people will say, Brooke, I don't like drama. And I understand that. And a lot of this is very unconscious. So it can be somewhat challenging to even notice that you have it. So one is starting to really just ask yourself, okay, do I like drama? Do I actually attract it maybe? And start asking this question. Do I feel uncomfortable when things are calm in my life? How do I feel? Right? So we're always focusing on, I don't want drama. Okay, let's not focus on that. But let's focus on what we actually want, what we're saying that we want to create. Because what's the opposite of no drama? Being calm. So let's start to ask ourselves, how do I feel? Do I feel uncomfortable when things are calm? And start really being aware of this. Okay. Another question to ask, do I always have a crisis in my life? Is there always a crisis? Now, not maybe with me, okay, but maybe with my children. When I go and I talk to my friends and I say, how are your kids? Oh, there's always a crisis. Somebody's always going through something. Okay. This is you feeding into this. Now you can be the enabler or you can be the one that's causing the drama, and I want to stop here and be transparent with you all. When I started going through this process, I found out very quickly that I was the enabler. And I also was somewhat, I think, addicted to drama because I was enabling the person that was really creating this drama. And I had to really first become aware and start asking myself, like, why is it that you're feeding into this? Why is this something that you always need? Right. The other thing to ask yourself.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sorry to interrupt, but because I view you as the opposite. Like when we started working together, you were the one that was showing me how to turn that off. Like, I know I've said it before, but I would be fired up about something that I was dealing with and you'd be like, that's okay. Or I had to, change our appointment. That's okay. You always just kind of like brought it back to that baseline for me. Yeah. And I needed that. I needed someone who gently was showing me, you're getting fired up about something that is not worth it. So I just had to mention that because I appreciate how vulnerable you are, but I see you
and
a lot
I am
different.
and I am not the same person that I was 4.5 years ago when I started doing this process. And that's the thing. And I will not be the same person in another 4.5 years that I am today. I am always continuously learning and creating more and more awareness. So one day, and even now, I think I look at you and I think, Danielle, you're not even the same person you were a year ago. You're really not. You know what I mean? You're not. And that's the thing. Like we have to, that's such a, and for you to say like that, I don't even recognize you being that person. Like that is a compliment for me because it is saying like, I can actually be vulnerable and say I was this person, but now I'm not because I actually did this work on myself. And I actually had just so much awareness, so much inner work it takes to do this stuff, right? If you want peace in your life, if you want this calm in your life, if you want to wake up every day and start to create the real life that you want and not be pulled into all this drama, this is the kind of work that you got to start to do. So the another thing that you can ask yourself is this: am I drawn to gossip? That's another one. Majority of gossip, well, all of it is just drama. People just talking about other people. Do I recreate conflict after things start going well? So let's say
reverting back.
Yes. How long? And this is, listen, just like we talked about tracking our cycles, we should be tracking this. Okay. How many times does conflict come in my life with my spouse, my children, my coworkers, people on the internet? Like how many times am I lashing out or enabling the person around me? Okay. Start making notes of this. Start saying, okay, wait, I'm in a situation right now where I feel like I'm not at peace. Write that down. Write down the day that it happened and then figure out, well, how many days did it take me to get out of that? And that's the sad part. How many days it's going to take you to get out of that cycle of drama? Probably 3 or 4 days to calm your nervous system or your inner guidance system down because you're all out of whack now. So every time you start to step into this drama, know that, oh my gosh, this is going to take probably 3 or 4 days, maybe a week, maybe more of my time, my life to actually get back to my inner guidance system to where I feel calm enough to make, good decisions about what I'm doing, to actually create, to manifest what I want in my life because I'm stuck in this hole. So start writing these things down. Awareness is huge. And then you can see, okay, well, how much conflict did I have this month? Right. And when did it happen? What was maybe it was around your cycle. Okay. More awareness. Start really tracking what's happening in your life so you can start to see the patterns that's happening.
And I think on that note, understanding, I know we've mentioned this before, understanding the biggest currency we have right now is where we give our attention. Like, look at how many different aspects of our lives, from our communities to our jobs, to our friends, to our family, to social media, to anything we're involved in, like that pulls so much of our time. And making those conscious choices of, I'm not going to waste my time worrying about this or gossiping about this or doom scrolling. And I have definitely started to pay more attention to how much I'm on social media. I love it. I love debating with people. I love catching up with my friends and family. I mean, it's definitely got its good usage. But when you look at that hour, how many hours a day, and your phone will break it down by what you're spending your time with. Oh my gosh, it can be scary and also convicting in the sense that I don't want to always be on my phone, even though I have to for work and all that stuff. Like, I want it to be a source of joy and a source of information and not a source of stress and drama.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's you can get pulled in real quickly with all the things we talked about with social heredity, and so, so I think that, I mean, those are the things that I would give somebody if I said, hey, it seems like maybe we have nervous system. And, you don't want to tell someone, hey, you're addicted to drama, but maybe saying, hey, it seems like your inner guidance system or your nervous system, whichever words you want to use, it seems a little off. And so maybe these are the questions that you can start to sit with yourself, and ask yourself, like, do I feel calm the majority of my life? Like, if you really want to get to a place where you feel peace on a daily basis, like, you're going to have to start practicing being in peace. And I'm going to tell you, doing this kind of work, you're going to have to probably let some people go. And it's unfortunate, but you're probably
uncomfortable.
Likely, but it's very uncomfortable because you start to not engage in things that people want you to engage in. And that's uncomfortable. If they're not getting that dopamine hit, if they're not getting that drug, that cortisol, that adrenaline from you anymore, well, guess what's going to happen? You're no use to them anymore. They have to go find somebody else that's going to give them that hit. Right. So if you're the one standing there saying that, hey, I'm not going to engage in this anymore. Like, I'm backing up. I'm not going to engage in the gossip. I'm not going to engage in the conflict. I'm not going to engage in any of that. I'm going to stay in my peace. I'm going to stay in my calm. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to hang up. I'm going to do whatever it is that I need to do to keep my peace. Then that other person will probably fade away because you're not giving them what they want anymore. And
exactly.
Yeah. And what we really want is, especially in the family dynamics, the friends dynamics, things like this, we want that other person to have enough awareness to say, hey, something's up here. Like, why is it that they're not engaging anymore? Why are they not gossiping with me anymore? Why aren't they doing anything? We want to help them give that awareness, but sometimes you just can't. Everyone's on their own path. And so sometimes somebody has to just go and I've lost friends. I've lost friends during this time, as you start to do this, your circle gets a little smaller, and it can be disheartening, and you start to think, well, what is it about me that people don't want to be around? But hey, like Jesus says, it's the ways of the world, it's not the way. Being the way, the way of the world is not the way. And this is what he's talking about. This is what mainly is talking about is don't gossip, don't have drama, don't enable people to do these things. So, following the way of the world is not so cool. So people
despite
sometimes
what
are
the
like
media and Hollywood and everyone else tells us, because they tell us we need that. It's going to make our life more spicy, more exciting. And again, I have fallen victim to that. Like, the saying in the 90s was save the drama for your mama. And my mom is so cute. She'd be like, yes, bring the drama to me, because she's just that type of person. But I think, now that I'm a grown adult, we tell people all the time, be aware. It's a process. It's not a one-off, and look and see, how does this make you feel? And one thing I wanted to mention before we closed up here is, being able to focus, and you've taught me a lot about this, being able to focus on a single thought for, I think it's like 17 seconds.
This is really important, people.
I could do that. 17 seconds. So I get my phone out, and I hit, the little like stopwatch timer, I hit it, and I just sit there and I try so hard to focus on one thought, a goal, just focus on one thing. It is like driving the wrong way down a one-way street sometimes, because the thoughts just start pouring in. Oh, but you have to think about this and blah, blah, blah. And I look, and sometimes it's 10 seconds, sometimes it's 20, but it is in practice really challenging. So I would challenge people to try to do that. You can call it prayer, you can call it meditation. All of this I've learned from Brooke, and it has made my life so much fuller and happier. And dare I say it, she's helping me find my peace. So before we sign off,
we're both finding it together.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Growing this community. So
yes.
Awesome.
Yes,
anything else you want to add before we, I know we wanted to keep this one a little shorter today.
Yeah, we wanted to, Danielle and I are trying to keep these at about 20 minutes. It's so hard because we have so many things to say and so many stories.
Yes.
But we also want you guys to be able to listen to these in the car on the way to, the store and back, or maybe, for me,
getting ready in the morning.
Yeah. And so, but we do want to really encourage you all to write in to us and tell us if there's something, if there's a question you have, or you guys say, hey, I want to learn more about that. Can you dive even deeper into that? Can you give me more practices for this? Or I didn't quite understand that. Can you give me more? Or I have a guest that I want to bring on, or whatever it might be. Please write into us. All the information is down at the bottom. We also have socials that you can follow. We would also, we would love that. This all helps keep this podcast going, and we really do appreciate all of you being here. You all mean the world to us. We love that you tune in and you listen to what we have to say, and that we really do hope that you're doing these practices at home, so that you can have peace. I mean, that's really ultimately why we're all here, is just to enjoy our lives, have fun, be at peace. Drama is not the way to go. I'm telling you. Once you get out of it and you start to live peace, and you start to be what people would say is boring. I'm telling you, boring's the cool way to go. 100%.
Life changing.
It really is. It really is.
Absolutely. So. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Please be sure to like, subscribe, share this with someone who you think might get something out of it. And we can't wait to see you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.